So, this video is going to talk a little bit about the term paper assignment that's going to wrap up our semester together. So, the term paper, if you look at the schedule, this is the schedule. I'm not going to hold it up to you guys because I've sort of written on it. But the term paper is going to be due Saturday, the 8th of August at midnight Eastern Standard Time. Week 6 wraps up Friday, April 7th, so you have the whole next day. After the last official day of our semester, you have the whole next day to work on this term paper. The term paper is an extended critical argument about a piece or a couple of pieces of literature that we have read this semester. You have the option to expand one of your discussion posts, but basically this is the same kind of approach as the discussion post. Your paper will be guided by a thesis, and I'll give you guys a handout called Critical Writing in English, and this will give you some more information about a thesis. But essentially the thesis is the overall main claim of your paper. This needs to be debatable, this needs to be comprehensive, which means it needs to be the largest claim in the paper. This needs to be the guiding focus of the paper. So every paragraph, every piece of argument, every section of the paper should connect back to this thesis. Supporting the thesis, you need to provide evidence from the text that you're reading, text or texts that you're reading, and then you need to interpret that. There need to be some kind of stakes for your argument. Like this can't just be, and this is actually sort of true of all academic arguments, this has to matter somehow. This has to tell us something, and this is not like this has to change the way that we understand everything in the world of literature, but this has to be important in terms of how we read this particular text, how we understand this text in the context of its historical era, how we understand this text's social meaning, political meaning, religious meaning, cultural meaning, historical meaning, whatever it is. This has to matter in some way. It has to tell us something about this text that is worth knowing. And with a lot of arguments that people come up with, this is fairly straightforward because the stakes are sort of implied in the argument. Your paper should be 4 to 5 pages long, which is actually a really nice amount of space to develop a specific argument thoroughly, but it's also sort of short enough that given our really, really condensed summer schedule, 16 weeks condensed into 6 weeks, given our really condensed summer schedule, this should be short enough that you can find a piece of literature you're interested in, find an idea that you're interested in pursuing, and write the paper reasonably well. If you want to do research, you are allowed to. You do not have to. I'm never going to discourage people from doing research, although probably with the discussion posts it's not a great idea because you have such a limited word count. But if you want to do research, you are welcome to do that, and if you want, we can sort of talk about that. You can send me an email, you can come into office hours, post a question to the discussion forums. Actually, the discussion forums would probably be good, because then I can make that information public to everybody. But if you want to do research, I can tell you about how to do scholarly research. I can give you a sort of crash course on using the library databases, which is the way that you should go if you want to do research. Don't do Google research, it's not a good thing. No, it makes me sad. But if you want to do research, you're allowed to. You will, at that point, have to do correct MLA citations, not only for the text that you are, not only for the primary text that you're writing about, but for any research material that you find. On that note, also, you will have to cite whatever it is that you're writing about from the Norton anthologies, whether that is from volume D, E, or F. And I will give you guys, actually, in the critical writing in English handout, I will give you guys the citation format to cite a piece from one of these anthologies. So that's doing you a huge favor, because all you have to do at that point is plug in the correct author, correct title, volume, letter, and editors, and the page range. I'll give you the setup, I will give you all that you need to do, just don't mess it up. Because for some reason, even in the past, even when I've said, here's exactly the format you need, people have not done it right for reasons that escape me. So we'll need a works cited page. This is a standard convention of writing in English, writing in literature, and in academia in general. Get used to doing works cited pages. If you bought Easy Writer, as I suggested that you did, Easy Writer, this was our suggested text for the class, not required. This has a section on MLA style citations. These are bordered in orange, these pages, and then you can go through, we've got a sort of long index of things here that tell you how to cite different types of sources. I can also help you create citations, particularly if you choose to do research. Let's see, what else? There was something else that I wanted to make sure that I said about the term paper. Oh, I can't remember. There's something else that I wanted to say about the term paper, but I don't remember. So I will probably put it into the written version of notes or the assignment sheet or whatever. So also, one other thing I will say, this is not what I was thinking of, but you should, as you are composing this paper, you should look back at the assignment sheet that I'm going to write up and the feedback blank that I'm going to give you, because that will tell you exactly what I'm looking for, and that will give you the best shot at doing well on this paper. So, very good. Email me if you have any questions.